Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dancing time is here. That's right, we're talking about Cats. I'm not even fucking with you. On Kill by Kill. Greetings and salutations, Internet. Your old pal, Patrick Hamilton, coming to you once again from just below the Heaviside layer. This is the Kill by Kill podcast, where normally we talk about the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. Today, we're going to talk about the most horrifying film of 2019 to some, if not all of the people involved in this particular podcast, and that is Cats. A real film, everyone. But don't worry, there is a death involved in it, so we will discuss it. And of course, there's only one person I trust. If I see that I need someone who's railway related, she'll tap dance her way into a job description. The one, the only, Gina Radcliffe. How are you doing today, Gina?
I thank you so much for using that reference, because that is the only part of this movie that I like.
He is a competent, tap dancer.
That's the only part of this movie that feels like an actual, Broadway musical.
Yeah. Everything else kind of feels insane. That's neither here nor there. Now, Gina, I don't want to alarm you, but I've brought somebody else into the Jellicle Ball. That's right. You know him, you love him. He's the host of many, many podcasts, not the least of which would be Horror Queers. But of course, you might know him as one of the most beloved returning champions of Kill by Kill, the one, the only Joe Lipsett. How are you doing today, Joe?
I hate you both so much.
You love me, Joe. Stop it.
Oh boy.
I was going to say, you introduced him, as joining the Jellicle Ball, so now he has to start rolling all over the floor and according to the captions, rhythmically breathing. Because it's not just a Jellicle Ball, it's some sort of tantric Jellicle Ball.
Oh, naturally.
I mean, this is weirdly the horniest movie we've ever watched, and we covered Scream for Help. That was a very horny film, and I feel
it's the most horniest. It's the most incomprehensible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that implies that there is some sort of comprehensible version of Cats. So before we get into the history of what this supposedly is, Joe, what was your introduction to Cats the musical?
So interestingly enough, I grew up with this property. My mom raised my sister and I on Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals, but we had the cast recording of this, and we had Miz and a couple of other ones. So I listened to this on somewhat regular rotation, and I've seen it. I've seen the stage production twice, once as a child, once as a teenager. The first time I very much enjoyed it because I was I like cats and I like musicals. And the second time I realized, this is a garbage musical because it's just cats introducing themselves for 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. I will say, for me, it works better on the stage.
Oh, yes.
Than it does in a movie, because it's an old-fashioned review. It's a park and bark where the person who it needs to be introduced wanders to the center of the stage. They put a spotlight on them.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm a cat. This is what I do. This is the stereotypical things that all cats that are like me that do, and all the weird racist and bigoted implications that come with that. And I'm done. Move on to the next one. And and because it's in the proscenium, and it's just garbage behind them, it kind of fucking works. A bunch of people in shiny leotards doing cool dances.
Yeah,
I'm down with that. That's perfectly fine. When they start to look even remotely real, the train falls off the fucking tracks on this concept.
Yeah, the suspenders do not stay up.
Yeah.
No. This is the third time that I watched it for this podcast, and boy oh boy, my eyeballs went to every last pixel of bad CGI.
Oh my God. It's atrocious.
Every time the ears twitched, like just something shriveled up in me. I'm just like, okay, they did not have to make the ears twitch. I realize that real cats, like the ears are constantly moving, but they could have just put fake ears on them. But no, I can say, okay, those are not real ears. Those ears are computer generated on these people's heads. And it's so in this bizarre attempt to make these things seem real, it's actually becomes some sort of like Dr. Moreau kind of experiment,
right?
Where in the play, now I've not seen it done live, but I've seen there was a fairly famous recording of one. I think it still had Betty Buckley, who was the original Grisabella.
I think on Broadway HD or Broadway.com. I can't remember.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They have that as well.
Yeah,
and
it was
worth watching. Like,
it was most of the original cast, but they basically looked like, bag lady cats. They were just like people in leotards with kitty cat makeup and like a bunch of shit thrown on them, like tinsel and jackets and giant scarves and shit. And here it's people wearing cat suits, very tight, that leave nothing to the imagination. And
they're either naked or they're taking off their own skin, or they're Jason Derulo.
Right. Or they're wearing sneakers.
Oh my God.
Or
they're
wearing jewelry. And or you've got Idris Elba who's also the only cat that has cat eyes. Which is like, it's like, well, some of these cats are going to look more like real cats, and some of these people are just going to look like they're naked, but with cat ears.
Yep.
I think it's that the inconsistency of that is one of the more pressing issues.
So many.
I mean, if to drill down on this, just the very idea that cats is a very unreal concept. And despite its incredibly fashy underpinnings of its structural society, the death cult involved in it, the unwavering loyalty to a leader who's very capricious and is like, sing and dance for your chance to live again.
Basically Grisabella has been sort of ousted from the community because it's implied, I guess, that she became a cat sex worker.
She's like a fallen woman because she went with the wrong dude.
She went with McCavity.
But McCavity, meanwhile, is allowed to saunter around polite society, kidnapping people, apparently able to do magic at wanton times. In the text of the play, any song, it is referred that McCavity has, quote, broken every human law. Every single one, from murder to jaywalking, everything in between.
To tear the tags off a mattress.
The worst crime of all.
So, oh my God. And then the skin element of it, that now that they are kind of almost real, very humanoid, realistic cats, makes it very fetishy.
Oh, yes.
And the variance of who is more cat-like to who is a sort of just a person in a cat costume. Like, James Corden is a guy in a cat costume.
Yeah.
Right. James Corden and Rebel Wilson are very much, for better, for worse, mostly for worse, kind of playing the whole thing for laughs.
And playing themselves.
Right. Whereas you've got this lead girl, Victoria's the character. I don't remember the name of the actress, because she does nothing except occasionally stand on her toes and look very confused at whatever's happening, which is fine, because I do too.
Because she is confused. She's the audience surrogate, an audience surrogate for cats.
But she and some of the other, like this one character, Monkey Strap, just looks so fucking ready to fuck at any minute of the time, at any second in this movie. And it's just such a weird tonal clashing. Like this Jellicle Ball thing is half sort of dance review, and then it becomes a fucking orgy.
If only. If there had been more fucking in this movie, I think it would be a bit more tolerable, ? So many confused sexualities are going to come as a result of this movie. Like, pity the furry generation of, 2030 who had to learn about their fetish from this fucking monstrosity.
Like this, charming, play that, is good for the family. There's a scene where during the Rum Tum Tugger song where like Victoria like puts her foot up on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's very unsubtle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Jason Derulo element of this is weirdly one of the more confounding characterizations, not due to his performance, which I think he's giving his all in.
He's trying.
But the fact that he's the middle ground between the I'm just an actor playing a cat and I'm very much still the actor, and the I'm completely a cat. I have no human characteristics. I'm simply the human personification of a cat. And he's in the middle because it's like, as we said during the Thing episode, his dick is pretty prominent underneath the cat costume.
He's the only one that is not wearing a cup.
I mean, bless Jason Derulo for giving us VPL in a fucking potential Oscar-nominated film.
I mean, poor Idris Elba. Like I said, the episode we brought this up, he just looks like a Ken doll. He is smooth.
Yes.
Yes. And he's the one person I don't want to be smooth.
Right?
That's the thing about this movie. It gives you the exact opposite of what you might want at any given point. It's hard to believe there's any sort of film. And I think this is why it kind of now has this cult phenomenon to it, because it is so rare to come across a movie whose instincts are pointed in the most entertaining and opposite direction to its goals you've ever seen in your life. And that's what
so
this movie
expensive
is.
too.
Oh, yes.
Like, how do you spend $100 million and multiple years an Oscar-nominated director? How do you get to here without someone realizing this is absolute shit? We cannot release this.
I think they were all in. It was a penny in a pound. They could not imagine throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, how many of these metaphors can I throw at this? Let's take a quick history, and then we'll wind right back into Cats, the movie. So for those who are uninitiated, the text really comes from T.S. Eliot, one of the OG incels. He was supposedly, according to history, unable to be in the same room as a woman, or he would suffer what he liked to call nervous sexual attacks. So he was a good time.
I was going to say, unwanted boners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't even want the boners he did have. He wrote a book called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats for his young nieces and nephews about an insanely rigid system of cat culture where different cats could be easily nailed to a stereotypical wall, much like his personal belief that different races and religions should be separated into ethnocentric states. Yes. He had brainworms. He was super cool with fascism and Hitler. He was also a virulent homophobe. I mean, we're just talking the swellest of fucking dudes.
So what you're saying is in this day and age, he would have a podcast on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. No, he would have a video series on PragerU for sure. He would tell
the old Possum's Book of Practical Fascists.
Delightful in every iteration.
Yeah, he would tell people who are woke to screw off and just cry in his hands about someone trying to just live their fucking life.
Cancel him on Twitter.
Oh, God. He's the fucking worst. So now we're coming into the late 1970s, and the musical version of this is created by Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean, he's not alone in this, but he's coming hot off the more than a decade of success with his former partner, Andrew Rice. They penned music and lyrics for shows like Jesus Christ Superstar, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, the concept album turned show Evita. So the world is this guy's fucking oyster, and he pairs with producer Cameron McIntosh, director Trevor Nunn, choreographer Gillian Lynn, to create Cats. And for the longest time, this show held the record for being the longest running show on Broadway and on the East End of London for quite a while. And I think it has to do with its kind of taking the concept from the previous record holder, A Chorus Line. Another show in which you have a long line of people and they're like, introduce yourself and sing a song about who you are. And that one, I feel like there's a lot of hooky songs in A Chorus Line. I kind of like it more as a show than Cats, but to each their own. I mean, who really cares? Cats, the Broadway show, I think is like worth your ticket money. But then it's run so long, everyone's kind of scrambling, like, how do we turn this into a movie musical? Steven Spielberg buys the rights with the idea, I'm going to animate it. And I don't know if that would have saved it, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
Steven Spielberg is kind of a miracle worker in a lot of ways. Certainly he knows how to direct a musical. If you saw, West Side Story, it's great.
Actually, legitimately good.
Like I love that original. I know it's hokey in a lot of respects. They both suffer from a Tony problem. Tony's just a real drip of a character. I don't think either version is good, but holy shit, that version of West Side Story that came out last year was so fucking good.
So good.
Yes.
And when you compare that to Cats, it's like, holy shit. Maybe Spielberg could have rescued this, but I don't know. They're just legitimately different types of shows, and the decisions that are made here are ruinous.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an overused phrase, and I'm guilty of it myself, but there's that phrase, they made some choices.
Yeah.
That does not apply to anything as much as it applies to Cats.
And I think that's why this version has a chance to live forever in a way, because no one's prepared for this. Like, you can have an idea of what Cats was or going completely cold. No matter what it is, if you're watching with other people, there's bound to be a point very early on where you start to push back from whatever device is playing the movie, and you're trying to force your way through a wall, like that Homer Simpson meme of him backing up through a bush.
Like, at certain points, your mind just breaks because you can't conceive what you are seeing anymore. Like, I just felt like I was continually going into a fugue state. Like, did I take an edible and I didn't realize it? I don't know.
Well, for me, like I said before, it's the inconsistency where this movie is so CGI'd beyond time and reason. And yet nobody stopped for a second to think that they should edit out the snot running out of Jennifer Hudson's nose when she's singing. That blew my mind when I saw it. I actually saw this in the theater on Christmas Day. This is how I celebrated. This is how I celebrated the day of Christ's birth in 2019 was by taking my family to go see Cats. And I'm looking, and we're sitting in the front seat. Her face is very large.
Yes.
And just the snot is just running out of her nose. And I appreciate that she got so into seeing this that she cried. And, you know, and that's fine. Lots of people's noses run when they cry. My nose runs when I cry. But it did not occur to them for a second, well, maybe we should take this, you know, this technology that we're using on, you know, every square inch of the rest of this movie and wipe her nose with it. And no, nobody does that.
But Gina, they didn't have time. They only finished the visual effects like a minute before the film got delivered to theater.
Yeah. And you know how some people could say, like, you know, oh, they remember seeing the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, or, you know, being able to say they were at Live Aid. I actually saw the cut where
the butthole cut?
Not the butthole cut, but the Dame Judy's human hand with her wedding ring cut.
Yes. So many infamous cuts of this film, none of them good.
There's no amount of refining to get you to the other side of, well, that was worth it. It's all just, I mean, which dimension would you rather be trapped in? Hellraiser or Cats?
Oh, we all know the answer. It's obviously Hellraiser. Come on.
Well, yeah, I think in Hellraiser they actually, you know, do fuck on occasion,
right?
But
right.
You know, in this world they just kind of like roll around and like moan and groan.
Yes, it's a lot of faux nuzzling, like coming close to nuzzling, but then backing off, and occasional stroking. It's just, oh God, and it sounds like a moog orgy on top of it. And one of the things I cannot get past is the sliding scale of how big the cats are.
Oh, yeah. There's that problem with consistency again.
Right.
It's massive.
They just could not decide on a scale. And as a result, the cats can go from a foot tall to 4 feet tall. And every time it moves back and forth, it becomes more frightening because I don't know what it means. And no one is there to tell me or hold my hand. And I'm just scared. All I want are answers, and no answers are forthcoming.
Yeah, I mean, you know, each viewing offers up more questions that go unanswered.
Yes. I watched this with my mom this morning because I couldn't watch it by myself. Like you, Patrick, I was scared and I needed someone present. I needed a consenting adult. And her mind was just frequently blown by the disproportionate proportions of this film. Like at one point we see Victoria when she's hanging out with Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer, and they're like bouncing around this bedroom. And you know that something is wrong because the sizes just don't connect. Like your brain is melting and frying. The synapses are dying as you're watching the scene. But at one point, they put a string of pearls over Victoria's neck and she ends up getting caught to a bedpost or some shit. Yes. And you're just like, what size are these pearls? Are these pearls meant to be for a human being because they look cat size? And
right.
But not. Yes. It doesn't work. None of it works. And you're like, I just don't understand the decision making at any point.
It's so confounding. Just the size when she holds up the knife and fork, and they're different sizes, but she's now suddenly smaller. Like it looks like she's a mouse. They just needed to define a scale, and her getting caught on that bedpost, and it just becomes like a Michael Hutchins in excess situation. It's just, it's not cool. Thank God we never see the dog.
Oh my God.
Because I just don't think I could handle seeing what this world's version of a dog is, because they managed to ruin not only cats, but mice and then cockroaches.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is the moment when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back and just kind of let this wash over me.
Yeah, that was the point that I knew, you know, because initially you get the Jellicle song, the overture, the prologue, and you're like, okay, something isn't quite right, but whatever. I'm going to try to go with it. The naming of cats. Okay. You know, we're seeing how the actors are moving. They obviously went to cat school. Our eyes are maybe adjusting to the costuming and what the fuck is going on with their genitals. But then, yeah, we get to Jenny Any Dots, and we get these fucking mice, these fucking cockroaches. She's unzippers her own skin to reveal a tap costume underneath. And that's when I'm like, wait, how long is this movie? Oh, fuck, I've got an hour and 45 minutes left.
It really throws you into a deep end really fast with Jenny Any Dots. Because to go from 0 to 60 of these dancing, singing cats, like I had an idea of what I was getting into, and the sliding scale of how they look or interact at any given point. And then like in the middle of the first song, our audience surrogate cat starts singing along, and the entire movie stops to say, what? She knows the words. Yes, you're all in the fucking movie musical. Am I going crazy? And the answer is yes, I am going crazy. This movie's going to take me there. This is the last thing you see before you have a full-on Toby Hooper, I've lost connection with reality moment. And I'm just left a crying, sniveling mess in an unfinished pool of skeletons. That's where this movie takes you. And then Jenny Any Dots is like, by the way, I have mouse and cockroach slaves that I occasionally eat.
Yes.
That I've
taught
you.
Enjoy my comedy, everyone.
I've taught you to sing and dance and play drums. In this vermin-infested house my human owners apparently are not aware of.
What kind of hellspace is this kitchen that is run by a cat who has not only allowed these mice and cockroaches to live, although occasionally feasting on them.
Yeah.
But she's like, I got to get out of this kitchen. Yes, we all have to get out of this fucking kitchen. This is, how can anyone live like this? How is this life for anyone?
One thing that I always you think is a reason why a lot of Broadway musicals don't quite manage to make the jump over to film very well. And again, West Side Story being the exception. That was a extraordinarily well done adaptation. But the additional dialogue doesn't usually, if ever, work. And here it's all a bunch of cat puns. It's like, cat got your tongue. My favorite one is when Jenny Any Dots is escaping from McCavity's henchman. She says, "Don't mess with the crazy cat lady." It's like, that's not what a cat lady is. A cat lady is a human. It's just like, well, let's shoehorn in as many jokes about cats as we can into the dialogue that isn't necessary because it's a musical.
Well, I find the humor in this even more perplexing because it's always aimed almost at children or families. And I appreciate that this film was intended to be an Oscar contender. Like, they wanted to make this 4 quadrants for everyone, but primarily like we're looking for family dollars and awards recognition. So in principle, I understand it. But when you watch the movie, I can't imagine any children or young audience being entertained by this. But clearly, like, this sequence cues us to say, oh, yeah, we're going to do a bunch of really stupid pratfalls and make cat puns as though kids will like this. And you just think, no, you don't even understand who this movie is for because it doesn't work for any audience.
Right.
This is where the Rebel Wilson, James Corden of it all really comes to a head.
Insufferable.
Because they're practically doing a fishtail Shrek level to the audience.
Yes.
It's everything people hate about Marvel movies, where someone in a Marvel movie goes, the fuck? What is all this superhero shit? I'm not a fan of that. Like, well, the worst Doctor Strange was Illuminati Hootie or whatever the fuck he says. It's like, you're telling me some crazy superhero shit is going on here? Yes, motherfucker, you are a wizard. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing. These people are like, isn't it dumb that we're in a bunch of cat costumes? No, I paid $18 to watch you in cat costumes. So fucking do it already.
Sell it. God damn it.
Right. Exactly. I will say that everybody else in this movie, with the exception of the actress who plays Victoria, who again just literally looks like she was thrown onto the set in a bag before it started filming. Because she's just like, what? Where am I? What, who?
She got old boyed into this movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Just she woke up in a stupor with some cat ears, or at least little green balls where cat ears were supposed to go later on her head, and just like somebody motioning at her, just go ahead, act, and but everybody else is committing to the bit. They're making eyes at each other. They're rolling around. And it's like, whereas Rebel Wilson and James Corden are, well, we're plus size people. Let's shake our butts to the camera. The audience will love that.
Yes. And can you believe they put us in this movie? And isn't this ridiculous? And I'm like, yes, but you're not helping.
No.
You're not helping. You're not making the landing any softer. You're just making it all weirder than it needs to be. And then, yes, why she doesn't just twirl and a dress magically appears. Instead, they're like, I've got a great gag for you, Rebel. Mm-hmm. Unzip your body, and you have a secondary skin that includes a cocktail dress.
It's horrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
And then she does it again later. To
that's how she saves her own life.
She apparently has this tap dancing costume on under her skin all the time.
All the time. Oh my God. Jesus in heaven.
And I'm sure people are listening to this right now and say, oh, it's a musical. You're not supposed to look for realism. No, I understand that. But musicals aren't supposed to be disturbing. And right. This is just a very... It's a very unpleasant movie to look at. Like it's
visually.
It's funny sometimes. It's very weird. But it's also just it doesn't look good. Where's all the money? Where did all the money? Well, I realize all the money went into the CGI. I realize that, but it's not good CGI.
No.
Like you could see you could see the absolute line between where their heads end and where the CGI ears start. There's no seamlessness to it. There's no blending. It's just these things on their heads. They're like twitching. They're moving like antenna.
Yeah, it's so uncanny valley, and we keep making jokes as like, oh, I felt like I was high. Oh, it was scary and terrifying. Oh, it broke my brain. And it's because when you're watching it, you can't even get lost in the fantasy because you're just constantly taken out of the moment by how unrealistic it just does not work. So even in the scenes where I'm like, oh, the dancing is good here. Oh, the problem is that I can see where their feet literally are not touching the ground because the ground is CGI. So every moment you're just constantly visually distracted by something that isn't working. So you can't even get lost in a fantasy.
Right. Yeah. Like I will say that the backgrounds look pretty nice. But also, it is very easy to see that none of those people are actually there. Mm-hmm. That the backgrounds were digitally created, and then the people were added later.
Yeah,
and because their size constantly changes, even things that are practical sets, like the threesome dance of let's still be gay and do crimes. Mm-hmm. That it makes no sense. The Jenny Any Dots sequence doesn't make any sense because the sliding scale of how big they are at any given moment is so unmooring. Your eye doesn't know what to believe. What is the size of a table in relation to the size of a windowsill. These are things I shouldn't be wondering while watching your movie.
Yeah. And yet you constantly are.
Yes. It does break your brain after a certain point. And then every once in a while, someone will say something that just unmoors you. Like when McCavity uses the they say gambit like Donald Trump. And you're like, is this in the text? Is this something they added for this version to make him automatically the villain? Why does he wear a hat and a coat? And why do some cats wear shoes? And other cats are like, I just fucking raw dog it all day, every day, baby.
Yeah, like when Taylor Swift shows up, as though that isn't distracting enough, even though, yes, she contributed an original song to help ingratiate the audience to this Victoria character, whatever. When she starts strutting and it becomes a weird Taylor Swift music video, but all I can do is look at the fact that she's wearing fucking cat-size heels. I don't understand, because we also see either Mungo Jerry or Rumple Teaser or maybe Mr. McCavity get lost in human-size heels when he's trying to rescue Victoria earlier. I'm like, so there's human heels, but also cat-size heels. Who makes the cat heels? Oh God, I just can't. I cannot do this.
I do like her little spangled catnip dispenser though. That's pretty cool. Yeah. But again, where does she get that?
Why does she have boobs and no one else has boobs?
Yes. Like I don't understand. Why can't we just be consistent at least?
Right. Just it's like if there's just not a huge difference between male and female cat bodies. And I'm okay with that. They can all be kind of a unisex sleekness or furriness, but it is real fucking odd that when I'm staring at Jason Derulo's wiener and we know he lists right, that's information I don't need to know.
I mean, some of us would say that is information we need to know, but if you're going to do it for one, do it for all. I need to know which way this cast is
exactly.
Sitting.
If I'm going to see dick, why don't I see it everywhere? Why is it under the skin? I don't know. That's another thing about their biology I don't get. But why Taylor Swift was like, listen, people need to know that I've got a juicy rack.
Yes.
That is not information I need to know in cats. Other places, that's perfectly acceptable. Here, it's unnecessary and overly distracting to what is already an insanely distracting narrative.
Yeah, but then apparently the butthole is too much if it is to be believed that there ever was a butthole cut.
This gets us to the confounding nature of Tom Hooper as a director.
Ugh,
because I mean, when I saw that one cut of the Les Mis song where you're just holding on,
Anne Hathaway,
of course, Anne Hathaway. When you're holding on her singing that song in close up, I was like, and she's doing it live while they're cutting her hair. I'm like, you know what? This brings a verisimilitude to this song in this moment I have not seen before. And I found that to be a revelation. And then when I watched the rest of the movie, I was like, holy fuck, that's the only good decision this fucker made. And I've never seen someone coast for so long, for so far on making one decision right. And then he just gets to this movie and he cannot manage to find that one decision that goes well. And as a result, everything is it's just floating in space like it's Inception. It just doesn't go, the narrative isn't there. And the show itself doesn't have a fucking narrative. So you're really lost. It's just a bad decision fest. It's the domino theory of you're out of your league.
Well, I'm curious, how do you two feel about Judy Dench? Because I'm willing to bet that Hooper thinks that is the kind of magnum opus creative decision in this film. Like, people have recognized that most things did not go right here, but, gender flipped, old Deuteronomy. At least we got Judy Dench, Dame Judy Dench, to say a cat is not a dog. Direct address to the camera.
Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? I just got a brand spanking new Xanax prescription from my doctor, and when I was watching it last night, I mean, again, this is the third time I watched it. I knew this was coming, but this movie has more false endings than The Return of the King. God. There's at least 3 different times where you can say, okay, you can stop here.
Yeah,
okay,
just wrap it up. Yeah. Wrap this motherfucking 1 hour and 50 minute movie up.
You could stop here. It's still going, but when she just stops, looks at the camera, I'm like, where's the pill bottle? Where's the pill bottle? Because like she is turning to the audience and telling us shit we already know. Like, Jude, can I call you Dame Judy? Who is saying that cats are dogs?
And also, you need to respect the names the cats have given themselves or that they will respond to, as though we didn't watch 20 of these motherfuckers introduce themselves over the last hour and 50 minutes.
She's lounging while being stroked while she's giving this information. Just right down the barrel of the fucking camera at you is interminable. I mean, it feels like one of those paintings that stares at you. The other night we were at a restaurant and they had a giant painting of John Wayne with those eyes that just barrel at you. And you're like, nice. I don't feel comfortable with John Wayne looking at me like that. Now here's a person who's festooned in twitching ears and fur, whisper singing at me.
Oh my God, the whisper sing. Oh God.
Well, I do appreciate that the whole entire point of this 2-hour-long movie is that while you may give your cats names like Bill and Orange Julius or whatever, that the cats will name themselves stuff like Schmuckle Chunk and Sir Whisker Flisk and stuff like that. You have to respect that those are their actual names. That they may come when you call them Bill, but that's not their real name.
Yes.
Right. Listen, my gangster name, my non-government name is Smuckle Chump, and you will respect it. You'll bow to me when you enter the fucking room. Oh my God.
They only call me Bill because it fit on the tag.
Oh my gosh.
The cats are very catty to one another. So that is probably the one thing that makes sense.
Super shitty. Like poor Grisabella just comes staggering over in her bag lady outfit. And the other cats are like, it's like, what's this high school shit, man?
What did she fucking do? Like they whisper to one another, like that cat's, that coat. That gives it away that she's poor. Why do cats have coats at all? Why do you have money? What is this?
There's street cats.
What is the economy here?
Yeah, I mean, there's street cats. Isn't there supposed to be some nobility and like getting your food out of the trash and all?
Well, you would think from the James Corden song that, and by the way, that's the first time I've ever appreciated Heathcliff, the cartoon character, in my entire life. I was like, Heathcliff got it right, whereas this gets it wrong. And I'm like, think what you're saying, Patrick. Consider what you're writing down.
Well, I get the impression that like they don't think very highly of cats that live in houses. Like that whole like Gumby cat thing is basically Gumby cats are lazy pieces of shit.
Yes, fat and lazy. This movie is basically classist and fat phobic in a movie about cats.
But like Grisabella, who's like literally a bag lady cat. Like they just don't want to be around her. She's Cat-sona non grata.
Cheat up.
This movie is like doing cocaine and tequila when you want to keep it cool at a funeral. No part of it is a good plan. And the point you're trying to make is lost, and then your method of getting there is just crazy pants. And nothing typifies this more for me than McCavity, a character who kidnaps people, apparently can do magic, and when he disappears, decides to just say any old word. It doesn't have to be one word, because it's like 5 different words when he disappears in a whoosh. At one point, he just goes, meow, and disappears.
No, I like my favorite part is when he kidnaps Ian McKellen, who's fucking terrible in this. Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, I love him, but he's just, you know what? They're all terrible. I can't singularly call him out. But
here's the thing. I'm going to let you continue in one moment. My conceit is that actually he's fantastic because he's the only one who knows he's in a piece of shit.
All right. That's fair. I will give you that. But I do like when because again, a problem with the inconsistency of the quote unquote plot of this movie is that everybody knows who McCavity is. He literally has like beware this cat signs all over the place. And then
he's wanted by the cat police
right.
for some reason.
He kidnaps other cats basically by being like, psst, psst, hey you, come over here. Hey. And like they wander over like they don't know who he is. And then they get close enough that he just like, you know, goes poof and disappears them. And I like when he does this to Ian McKellen's character, because all you hear is McCavity.
McCavity. It's out of Monty Python. It's what is the unfortunate connection here, because things happen that are straight out of Flying Circus that only make sense when a person holds up a small cardboard sign that says joke on it. Like,
but that would suggest that this is a knowing farce. And yet every ounce of this film feels like they think it's very sincere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The earnestness is off the charts.
And yet you have like fucking comedy bits in the middle of songs that have no place there. It's like if you went to see a Shakespeare play and they started a herald in the middle of the show. Like, okay, these are 2 staged presentations, but they have nothing to do with one another. And they're both the opposite tone of what the other is trying to do. And it's like, come on, everyone, it's Cats. Yes, but the vast majority of people who you want to see this movie have no real idea what Cats is.
Yeah.
Or they're so beholden to the idea of what it should be that you couldn't let any of this go. So you felt like you had to include everything from the musical in it, and then also produce an original song so that you could definitely get that Best Original Song nomination at the Golden fucking Globes. And then also allow people like, Rebel Wilson and James Corden to do their own schlocky, funny bits. And it's so overstuffed with bad ideas and bad content. You're just like, you needed to parse this down. Like, I think a 90-minute version of this movie might have been a little bit enjoyable. Like, you could have found some saving graces, but honestly, you turn it on, you see that runtime, and then your brain starts to fry and you just think, no, why would you do this to me?
Yeah, if it ended after Memory,
right,
or the Railway Cat thing, you'd be fine.
You're going out on a high.
Yes, just move Railway Cat right up in there. Forget about magical Mr. Mistopheles. It's one lyric repeated over and over and over for no particular. It's a dirge. Just get all that, squish it down, have Memory happen, heavy side layer. You don't need a 10-minute monologue about cats aren't dogs.
Yeah, just slingshot a fucking Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson into the sun and be done with it.
That this ends with a ritualistic death like it's the Wicker Man. I mean, listen, that's what the show is. I get it, but it's a real fucking weird ask that everyone is competing to be reborn, including cats who seem to be having a perfectly good
totally normal life.
just doing what they do. And they're like, but, maybe I get reborn. Into what? Why does McCavity want to be reborn?
Mm-hmm. He's living his best life. He's a notorious gangster.
He gets to hang out and fuck Taylor Swift and get high and do crimes. Mm-hmm. What are you complaining about? What the fuck is his problem? And then you got Ray Winstone, who shows up in this with I'm a cat, ain't I?
Oh, God.
And you're like, what the fuck is this from? None of these things have anything to do one another.
Yeah, it's like
and then
Pussy
the railway
Blinders
cat is like, I look like a bartender from Brooklyn. And you're like, okay, sure. You wear pants. Why not?
You have a mustache. Go for it.
You have a mustache and you wear a tiny cap.
Honestly.
And everyone gets into bed in a train. And then, once you land in that fucking theater, anything that happens in that theater, with the exception of the railway cat tap dancing, you can lose. I'm sick of that place. I can't believe we are stuck in there for nearly an hour.
Ugh.
It's a crime against humanity.
Although I will say
cats.
that the Jellicle Ball is maybe the best example of dancing in the film. Like, if we're trying to find good things to praise, we've got Jennifer Hudson killing Memory, snot and all, Gina. But then we've got the Jellicle Ball, which I think succeeds because it just allows these talented dancers to dance. And the same with the Railway Cat, because we get a decent tap dance out of it, even though that transition from the ball to suddenly just a giant endless railway track to nothing makes no fucking sense at all.
And the size of the train car they're in
oh my God.
is just like, is basically, it doesn't make any fucking sense. The size of the cats inside the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Why do it at all? Why not just have happy dancing? And then during the Taylor Swift Bombolina section, there's all these movements in which she's shaking her hips, but you're seeing her from her shoulders up. If you have a lyric about hips and you choreograph hips, go crazy. Perhaps I should see the hips for the hip-based lyric. And Tom Hooper's like, no, straight into camera, as close as I can get to this fucker. And you're like, why? What is the point? Why did you sign on to this dance show unless you're going to show me dance? And he's like, I'm going to save it for this one thing. And you watch it, you're like, wow, that's a collection of very good dancers, but you barely get to see dance half the time because he's so focused on getting right up close to this uncanny valley fur. He just can't stop himself.
I was gonna say for an ensemble musical, there's a lot of tight close-ups in
he does not know how to
movie.
shoot dancing at all.
No,
he doesn't know how to shoot dancing, and he is high on his own supply from that Les Mis sequence.
He's gotten into the catnip.
Right. Very much so. And that catnip is the smell of his own farts. And as a result, he cannot give up on this revolutionary idea that he had for this one movie and this one sequence where it worked. And then we all have to suffer for it for an hour and 48 minutes of torturous hell. If you told me that magic cat was Robert Pattinson as the Batman, I would believe you.
Mr. Mistopheles.
Yes.
How dare you? That twunk played Will on that canceled William Shakespeare show.
Yeah, Mr. Mistopheles, I will say, for me at least, is the most tolerable character in the movie, because he's kind of adorable and his incompetence.
Yeah, he's a nice little guy.
Yeah, and he's not making weird faces at people like Monkey Strap. I really hate Monkey Strap because
he's a judgy motherfucker.
Well, he's judgy and he's creepy. He's constantly making fuck eyes at every single other character. He's like, I'll take you too. I don't care. I need to fuck.
Well, is it supposed to be a romantic triangle?
Face.
Is it supposed to be a romantic triangle between him and Victoria and Mistopheles?
They live in a polyamorous society.
I think it's initially is, and then when Mr. Mistopheles is able to bring back old Deuteronomy, Victoria's like, well, I guess I'll go with you. But Victoria, but Victoria also seems very suggestible. So I think that if Monkey Strap brought her a beheaded mouse, she'd be like, well, I think I'll go with you now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a date at the milk bar? I guess I'll go with you.
Yeah, no, she's
like I said, she just looks. Let's just say she looks suggestible.
It's the born sexy problem, right? They've created a character that's naive about the world, but she's so naive that she's also, like you said, highly suggestible. And on top of that, she's sexy as fuck. Mm-hmm. So you have this combination of a sexy idiot that they can mold into. She'll do crime 1 second with a threesome, and then the other's like, you can make magic happen. And you're like, he can?
Yep.
Why can't he?
And he's like willing to rescue homeless cat ladies from the streets and give them a second life or ninth life.
Because she sees something in Jennifer Hudson. She's like, wow, what a performer. She's got to die. What are you doing?
She needs to ascend to heaven right now.
Yep. She's my competition on Cat American Idol.
Something Hudson knows intimately. Again, I will reference, I don't know what episode I stated this in, but yes, one of the highest I've ever been in my life was at a taping of American Idol that turned into the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Oh my God.
They did not tell us this was going to happen. And I don't know if, Joe, you've ever been super high in the same place Oprah Winfrey is, but she knew.
She called you out on it.
It may have been several rows back, but she knew that I was high off my ass.
She just turned and looked right at you like Dame Judy looks at the camera here.
Like she could smell what I had rolled out of a boogie van smelling like. Yes, 100%. I think it was the first time I had ever hotboxed. Oh, man.
Better memories than this movie.
The aughts were quite a time for Patrick Hamilton. McCavity!
Meow!
How English is too English? Because I have a feeling that this movie is too fucking English. This railway song, again, speaks to a Monty Python sketch that eventually becomes the Californians. It's just really into trains in an unhealthy way.
I like that sketch because it feels like it's the only thing that actually feels like a Broadway number to me.
Oh, true. Yeah, because you're seeing fucking dancing. There's 2 sequences that allow you to see the dancing, and everything else you're either too close or too far away.
And he's just dancing. It's not anything weirdly sexual. It's just some dude tap dancing. And who doesn't like what what movie isn't improved at least by 10% with the incorporation of tap dancing?
Right, yes.
I will say I find this to be the most queer section of this highly weirdly queer film, but his outfit to me, like a shirtless individual with suspenders and pants, is like, oh, this is giving me a lot lot of gay vibes, and maybe that also helps to contribute to the Broadwayness. And the mustache. Oh yeah, that guy has
Straight
had a few rides hang off that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, the Taylor Swift drugging an entire group of cats. What is the benefit from her? Like, how does McCavity like, hey, all right, baby, I got a job for you. You gotta go in there to the genital ball. You gotta get everyone high.
Did you say the genital ball?
Isn't it?
Isn't it though?
Might as well be.
Well, and this is a deliberate change from the musical, because if you listen to the lyrics, this is meant to be a warning. Like, this is the overview of who McCavity is. He's evil. Don't trust him. And instead here it's like, no, I'm a sexy accomplice with tits for days. I'm going to knock all these people out so that he can abduct her and put her onto a barge.
Yeah. Sure. And then get her there and immediately go, I'm going to the heaviside layer. And she goes, no, I choose who it is and you're never going to be chosen. And he's like, okay, I'm going to kill you, which also
defeats the purpose.
Isn't going to get you what you want at all.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
And then Taylor Swift is she trying to do a British accent?
Oh yeah, she's definitely trying to do a British accent.
Just don't.
Mechanically is not there.
Tapping it.
Which goes to like I do kind of love TikTok's ongoing desire to make the world believe that Leah Michelle is unable to read. And one of the proof of this is that when she learns songs, she learns the way the person who originally sang it sings it, so because she can't read lyrics.
Right.
And that's why when she does British songs by people who affect a British accent, she does too.
Right.
There's the Lily Allen song Smile that they did on Glee, and she affects a British accent. And you're kind of like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's integral to Lily Allen, but she's not Lily Allen. And yet all of a sudden it's always British then. And you're like, oh, maybe she doesn't know how to read. This is very compelling. And then I'm the QAnon guy.
Well, I mean, if nothing, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I've got nothing. Go for it.
I mean, I think she is the only person in the cast who isn't British. So it would probably sound a little weird if she didn't have an accent.
But she could be First of all, she's never speaking.
Right.
So just sing the song. When you're singing the song, it doesn't matter. But the vast majority of people are not singing with British accents.
Sure.
Certainly I don't know what Jason Derulo was doing. Do you think do you think he's happier by? The fact that no one blames him for Cats being terrible.
Yep. He got
or that he fell down the stairs at the Met. Like, which one is the bigger accomplishment?
I stand corrected. He is also American, but I feel like in his song, he's trying for little something.
Yes. He might have watched Alfie one too many times, but he's definitely trying. Whereas Taylor Swift is too cool to try that hard. Mm-hmm. And as a result, you kind of get one of these, like, it's neither here nor there. She's much more interested in being Taylor Swift in a Cats movie rather than Cats featuring Taylor Swift.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, like, she's so involved in this production. You have to imagine that either they latched onto her for the kind of cultural cachet, like we're going to bring in all the Taylor Swift fans with this, or she thought, I want to be tied onto this prestigious film, right? Like, you got to think it's a big deal when people say, hey, we're going to make Cats a film for the first time. It's the longest running musical, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, like, do you maybe want to do more than a phoned in fucking performance while looking hot? Oh, no? Okay, then.
Well, I feel like this was her, not that anybody questioned her attractiveness before, but, this was her, all young female singers who start their careers when they're teenagers have this moment where they're like, well, I'm an adult woman now. And this is kind of her, this is the platform she was going to use to introduce herself to audiences. I'm not just this, sweet, nice girl. I'm a sexy woman now. So here I am, wearing a cat outfit and shaking catnip at people while singing about a cat who tears the tags off of mattresses and might have killed people.
Yeah. Like he's broken every human law, but he also cheats at cards, which they say twice. So, like, he's obviously really burned the don't play cards with McCavity. But it's one thing to go from he cheats at cards to kidnapping. And that's something he also engages in constantly. So it's a real doozy of a song, and how they chose to accomplish it is bizarre. And then when you get to the end of any musical sequence in this back half, when you're dead ass in this theater, it's either panting, just rhythmic panting, or they meow applause. And I don't know which is worse.
Sort of like the cat equivalent of back when people used to do like beat poetry and everybody would snap their fingers.
Yes. It's just like all of a sudden they become Arsenio Hall's The Dog Pound, but the cat version. And you're like, this isn't good. I don't feel sarcastic. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not sure which. Oh boy. When Rebel Wilson unzips her skin for the second time, because it was so great the first time, and she's just able to get out of the chains that she has been bound in for now an hour. And they, like Gina mentioned before, the crazy cat lady pun here. And
then we resort to a hitting a dude in the balls joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though we've seen no evidence of balls in the film at all.
But he's definitely
I'm sorry. That's actually the second time a male character getting hit in the crotch joke has been used.
Oh, right, because James Corden did it.
Right. He falls down, does a very prolonged joke as he falls over.
Which is every James Corden joke.
Yeah.
Is him rolling around on the ground, grabbing where his balls should
going,
be, and writing him.
I just realized this character reminds me of Mike Myers' Fat Bastard. Like, that's who James Corden is doing. He's doing the cat version of Fat Bastard in that sequence, isn't he?
I just, singing, I realize this song is in the show, but an entire song about how much he likes to eat. That's his entire character arc. Is I'm, I whatever the fuck the character. I'm Buster Jones, and I like to eat.
Yeah, it's I'm So Fat, the musical number.
It's like, well, Buster Jones, I've yet to meet a cat that does not like to eat. So.
And then at the very end of that section, McCavity lures him to a tall garbage can worth of food. It's like, come on, you look like you're skin and bones. You got to get over here. And all of a sudden it becomes Charlie in the fucking chocolate factory. He just disappears down a tube. And everyone's like, all right, bring on the Oompa Loompas. Let's talk about something else, everyone.
McCavity strikes again.
Yeah, it's either that or it's Mario, right? Like, I'm surprised he didn't say, "Oh, your princess is in another car."
And then when they bust out from the Ray Winstone, sequence of terror, the music, it's like, look out, danger. And there's ball shots and the action is sub Big Bad Beetleborgs. It just, you can't tell me that this was meant to be enjoyed without irony. It's hard for me to believe you smack the ball that hard unintentionally, but I think this is one of those magical films in which and everyone is trying. They are aiming at a target and they nail it, and then they pull back and like, oh, that isn't a target. That was someone's car hood. They just it doesn't fucking compute how they got from where they were going to this. Oh my God. My brain is coming out through my nose.
What a delightful film. I'm so happy that I goaded the two of you into doing this after you did a 5 to 10 minute tangent during The Thing.
And yet the reaction to it, and yes, you were encouraging, but you weren't the only one. Anyone who's seeing this, like, why are they talking about cats? Well, like all bad things we have to suffer through, it was social media that goaded us into this and said, this is a great idea, everyone. We're not going to just do it on Patreon. This is a main feed episode, baby.
I was listeners wondering, demand and deserve it.
I was thinking, should we do this as a commentary track? And then I was like, no, because it would just be an hour and 50 minutes of us of just screaming. Just incomprehensible screaming.
Yeah. Alternating
just
with
us
meowing.
Going, Jesus H. Christ over and over
just
again.
What? What is this? What?
Why?
The fucking hell? And, why not save that reaction for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
Not the monsters?
Oh.
Can we have them?
It looks great. Don't you know? It looks great. It looks just like the real monsters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does it?
At higher frames per second, yes.
What they're doing, right? Their actions, like when they're look like Sonny and Cher and they're singing, that feels like that is the monsters. That is something that would happen on that fucking show. It's the way it's presented that I have a true problem with, because you can't tell me that part of the aesthetic of the monsters was it was cheap, but they also filmed it on film on real sets. And this feels like he's using an iPhone 9 to capture all this shit. And I don't want that. It looks unfinished. It looks like you don't know how to light scenes. It just looks cheap and wrong.
So cheap. Yeah.
It's not the jokes. I don't have a like everyone is costumed so well. Mm-hmm. That's infuriating. Grandpa Munster looks great.
Oh yeah.
The way he's filmed is shitty. That's a problem. You went through all the trouble of making these kick-ass looking costumes. Everyone looks the way they're supposed to look, and you fucked it up by just using cheap-ass camera and bad lighting. I'm sorry. It's fucking, oh my God.
How do you really feel, though?
You can't tell me that he was going for a look that...
Yeah, nobody sets out to say, people are going to compliment this film by saying it looks cheap.
Yes. And you're honoring the great gift that was the monsters by making it look cheap. No, you can be goofy and you can be campy, but there's no point in having its quality look bad. Just present it well. It makes it seem like he made it in his backyard for a community college with an Oscar-winning costume designer. That just doesn't make sense to me. I can't celebrate it. I'm sorry.
It honestly just makes you want to go back and revisit like Mockingbird Lane, right?
Right. But again, I feel like that comparison does a slight disservice to Mockingbird Lane because its goals were so ideally different than recreating the monsters for a movie. If anything, it should be compared to Monsters Go Home, which was a movie version of the TV show. It looks as good as Batman the movie. And that is, if you are giving me that level of quality in terms of presentation, I am fine with all the jokes. It's that you're literally served something that could be delicious in a bag covered in dog shit and go, isn't this what you wanted? No, it isn't. Have I ranted about the monsters enough?
I mean, before the inevitable Patreon episode. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it looks, Gina, it looks like Veronica.
Oh, God. It does. Like I said, it looks like its own porn parody. I refer to it elsewhere as the Humpsters.
Yes, I think its own porn parody is a very apt description. I think it is as misguided as Veronica. It just truly looks of poor quality, and it does a complete disservice. Like that guy who's trying to play Herman is absolutely playing Herman Munster, right? It's a fucking disservice to the work he's doing to present it in such a terrible package. I'm sorry, everyone. I can't get behind it. Not even for irony's sake, not to be cool.
No. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So any what a way to wrap up our cats. I mean, the fact that this doesn't end like the Wicker Man is nuts. Like, get in this chandelier balloon. And now
I hope I go like that. I hope I go like that.
Oh,
you know, when I get my kidney transplant, if things don't work out, I hope that I just ascend through the ceiling of the operating room in a shoddy old crystal chandelier,
tied to balloons like you're in Up.
Like Idris Elba, Idris Elba hanging from the bottom. No, take me with you.
Take me with you where I go. No. Or the British thing.
Ineffable.
Ineffable. And then his magic is now he doesn't have any fucking magic anymore because he grabbed onto a rope.
Explain that.
How does this work?
Like at least have him get struck by lightning or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, a Terrigen bomb, something, for Christ's sake. So, of course, that brings us to choose your own Heaviside layer where we decide which of these death/rebirths we would choose. You either have ascend into the heavens in a chandelier and balloon setup, or you drowned in the Thames. So, Gina, I think you've made your decision. Yes.
Yes, I'm chandeliering it all the way through the pearly gates.
And Joe, what say you?
Oh gosh, what fantastic options. I'll probably join Gina in the Chandelier Balloon Factory. But I think it's only because it's also a fate better than having to stay down there with Dame Judy Dench and just like be stroking her as she mumbles her way through dialogue.
Yes. Whisper sings. Yeah, they're the only way out of this that makes any sense, because I'm not putting rocks in my pockets when I don't even have pockets and just drowning in the Thames.
Or maybe you do, Patrick. We don't know. Maybe they also have zipper pockets in these suits.
It's true. There are no rules. It's chaos. It's like Mad Max. They're just like, it's obviously there's a system in place. It's just unknowable, and there's no way you can work your way up. It's just happenstance. Oh my God, what a fucking motion picture. Joe, you are in charge of many podcasts. Why don't you tell our audience about all of them right now?
Fantastic. Yeah. So I have the big podcast, which is Horror Queers, which comes out every Wednesday, and you can find that at Horror Queers everywhere you get them. And then Gina and I have a side project with Jen Adams on the Anatomy of a Scream Pod Squad network called White Ladies in Crisis. So we look at erotic thrillers. Sometimes we talk about Physical, the Apple TV show. And then I also have a YA adaptation podcast, which occasionally delves into horror. And that is called The Hazel and Katniss and Harry and Star.
Yes, it's wonderful stuff. Everyone should be following you for all that stuff. You're so damn busy in podcasting, and you're so great at it. And we always love having you on the show, of course.
Yeah, I must say, I'm surprised that I'm the one who nabbed this, because this does feel a bit more like a Megan episode. But take that, Megan. I'm still climbing.
She got Predator though, so it breaks even.
Yeah, and then we talked about Predator smut on Patreon.
Nice.
So it's been a very Megan heavy year so far. As much as we love having her on, we destroyed her search history. So we really owe her a lot. Gina, where can people find you on these here internets?
Well, as Joe mentioned, I'm in a side project called White Ladies in Crisis. By the time this goes, now we'll still be talking about Physical at this point, but our next project, we're going to be covering the Hulu miniseries Candy. Because there's two white ladies in Crisis in that one. And I also write about movies and television at thespool.net, and I am on Twitter under Gina Does Things.
Do it today. People, check it out. Josh Hollis does all of our artwork. Revenge Body does all of our themes. Go to revengebodymemphis at bandcamp.com to get all of our main themes and remixes. They're all fantastic right now. All profits and proceeds from those sales go to Memphis Choices, helping people in the Memphis area get the healthcare they so rightly deserve. Find us on social media, your Twitters, your Facebooks, your Instagrams. Tell us what you think of cats. We'd love to hear about it. Why end this conversation? And of course, on Patreon, we're doing all sorts of specials, like talking about, how predators fucking and what that means and how they do it in graphic, terrifying detail. And of course, and then lighter fare like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And, don't worry, folks. All right. The gore and the horror and the just the unnerving nature of the cinema we cover will return. The body count will continue for myself, for Joe, and for Gina. Goodbye, everybody.
Ineffable.
Cavity!